Have a mover and a seconder. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Thank you. Carried. Brilliant. Now we'll shoot on to item 14, please, Tyler. Is that right? Item 14, before you... And then it's no rush to get back or whatever you want. Sorry, drop unit. But
No, that's all right. That's all right. It's my job. I'm here today to present our very first youth portfolio lead report. The portfolios require us to report every 6 months, but there are a few things that I needed to sort out in regards to our relationships with our stakeholders and our partners before I actually presented this. And the reason why I'm doing that is because we're talking about a memorandum of understanding with the Christchurch Youth Council, and that's detailed in Attachment A. There is something around the Smoke-Free Environments and Regulated Products Act amendments, which are currently being planned for appeal, that I'd actually hope that the council would support in not repealing that due to the health risks and the many organisations that back the data that supports not repealing this, and also talking about Te Paipakari and the future of it. So Te Paipakari was a standing committee of council. It was kept alive in one of our first meetings that we had by a great deputation by Anne Galloway, Councillor Anne Galloway, who has done some amazing work in the youth space, and Pilot. And then lastly, in number 5, we have just some noting amendments. So there is quite a lot of reporting and of reports noted in these attachments. There's around 8 or 9. But within the report, I just want to highlight a few things. And in these you'll see on number 4, 4.1 is around the Christchurch Youth Council and who they are and the value that they provide to council as our partners. I actually went to their AGM last night, a phenomenal one. They reappointed a new exec. They're so keen and they're so excited to get into the mahi. And then there's also some other things that are really beneficial to council too, such as Rerenga Awa, who are the Canterbury Youth Workers Collective, who contract youth audits around our city. Now, they provided youth audits in the Multicultural Centre on Hagley Ave and also in Te Kaha. Now, the thing that surprised me with these youth audits is you'd think that you'd get a bunch of kids in the room. This is just me, by the way. You get a bunch of young people in the room, and you'd expect that they'd provide tips on things that matter to youth. Like, oh, it'd be great to have a cinema here, and it'd be great to have a PlayStation over here. That is not what they said. They reported to say that the colours in the building are not welcoming to them, that they're dark, they're dim, and they provide somewhat of a feeling. They talked about the lift and the functionality of the lift for people who are needing more accessibility. They talked about their ability to enliven spaces by having communal hangouts outside of the Multicultural Centre and many other things that didn't affiliate to PlayStations, games or vaping, which many people talk about. I'd also like to talk about the work that YCDU do, Youth and Cultural Development, and working with our rangatahi across the city. And we do a lot of work with them around the pool parties, around the Christchurch Hip Hop Summit, and many other things to do with youth. We also fund them through our Strengthening Communities Fund. Now, I also wanted to talk about Te Whare Awhiro and the Hope House Youth Report. And there are some things around this which are not surprising to me, but they are could be surprising to a lot of other people. And you'll notice that in the media, no offence to the press that are in the room right now, but youth have been put into a really, really bad light, particularly around youth crime as of late, which is actually slowly dwindling down, but also painting everyone with the same brush. Now, in page 335, 4.5.1, it actually has the top 6 issues that youth face. Now, I wanted to highlight these because they are not new. They are very, very similar to the days of old, particularly when I was around. But they are elevated due to the higher use of social media, of phones, of technology, and the advancement of technology. Now, they feel like they have a lack of community engagement lack of connection. The mental health is really tough. There is a generational gap that they feel, and that is, Dame Sue Bagshaw said that's not new. Socrates said it. It's not new. And the pressure that they face actually from academic, social, and excessive pressure from their friends and from their parents is becoming exorbitant. And lastly, they wanted to be accepted, and they feel like the acceptance has a profound role in the way that they develop, particularly around the way that our parents treated us as young people, and that has changed today too, and also the way that society accepts them. Now, that is a massive highlight for young people, and particularly with media attention, they feel like they are going to be alienated. Now, the last organisation I want to highlight here is because they are going to be coming up in the long-term plan, most likely, is Dame Sue and Phil Bagshaw's Youth Hub. Now, I have provided links in every single one to be able to get everyone to see what the amazing work they do. The Youth Hub is going to be something that's ginormous. They're currently going through stage 1, and they're currently fundraising for stage 2 of the project. Now, the Youth Hub is a city's first youth hub that's designed for rangatahi, for mental health, for well-being, for social housing, to be able to make sure that if you're coming from somewhere of deprivation, then you become an awesome member of society who has a full-time job and a whānau of their own. Now, in the smoking and vaping part of this, which is number 7, the Murals Forum have supported this act in the past. So therefore, it would be awesome if we can continue to support that kaupapa as the Murals Forum have. And I have also attached that within the program. Now, there's data that's across the board, and I'm going to take the report as read. But these are the recommendations that I have as a youth portfolio holder, and I really appreciate everyone's time. Kia ora.
Thank you. Has anybody got any questions towards this? No. So I dare say Tyler may want to move it. You think? Yep. Sorry, Councillor Barber. Yep.
Thanks for that, Tyler. Is there any way that there could be more attention and highlight brought on to the amazing things that youth do in society? For instance, I think we were all blown away, or I certainly was, by the student army, volunteer army during the earthquakes and afterwards, and also some of the groups that go out and do eco-action, who do plantings. You know, are there things that you're seeing that we're not, that we can bring to the attention of the general public, you know, to enhance the image of youth in our society?
Absolutely. And it stems from localism, actually. So if you're a part of a local community, such as, for example, Hornby High School, and there's parents that are involved with them and the community's involved with them, they get highlighted quite a lot on the local pages, on the local Facebook groups, other than the negative stuff that severely outweighs it. The positive stuff tends to be hidden and pushed down. So I'd really like to encourage us to continue sharing the amazing work that we see from our high schools, particularly. Hornby High does an amazing job in terms of the principals sharing the awesome work that they do. While also actually bouncing back at the rhetoric that people put on social media. And it's really important because the kids see it. Our young people see it. They see all of the bad comments, negative comments on social media. So it'd be really important for us to bounce back wherever we can, particularly if it's our own platforms. That's just us as elected members, and continue to raise our young people. And I would like to see us maybe involving ourselves in Te Pai Pukari in some way, shape or form, showing face, being present, even talking to some of our young people who may be in our wards and seeing what issues that they face, because face-to-face is the most effective way to deal with our young people. And lastly, engagement requires very, very little resource for young people. When I was working in Selwyn, all I needed was a barbecue trailer and some snags to be able to get 1,800 survey respondents. That was literally $85 for me to be able to get all of those respondents. We go to them, we give them some kai, we say thank you so much, we really appreciate that, and we move it on. Really, really simple mahi. It doesn't take $30,000 of engagement budget. It takes a couple of $100 to get a few thousand in high schools. As long as we're there face to face, we're sweet as. We're good to go.
Councillor Cotter?
Thank you. Excellent report and really, really interesting. So kia ora for that. I'm looking at 4.8 and your insight into the current state of sport for rangatahi. And you're saying that the relationship between rangatahi and organised sport is weakening quite significantly, which is a big concern. This is affiliated to the seriousness of the sport once it gets to a certain age bracket. So I'm wondering what the age bracket is, and I'm wondering what are the barriers. I know you've mentioned deprivation, but I know that in Shirley and McFarlane Park, they've got great programs where the youth come along and just organise themselves into teams. There's no competitive kind of thing. It's just, so do you have any comments on barriers that we could try and perhaps address for this? And what is the age group where they drop off?
Sure. If I refer to something we see all the time at Shirley School, those hoops have been replaced so many times because they've been used so much. The same goes for Wharenui, by the way. Wharenui School. The hoops are just absolutely munted because everyone's using them. Because it's informal. It's their mates texting and saying, hey, let's catch up. The age bracket's actually around year 11 to year 13.
Oh, really? That young?
Yeah. As in, fifth form to seventh form.
Yeah.
So that age bracket is when they start dwindling away. Year 9 and 10 is sort of where they have their fun time and they start working their way towards first 15, first 5, first 11. But then year 11 to year 13 is really where it starts hitting home. And they do want to have more informal catch-ups. They want to have shoots on their local court. And to be honest with you, I can give you the answer now, which is actually providing nets on our hoops around our council facilities. A basketball net or a football net is provides so much more impact, and it's low cost. And it's because they have to go and chase the ball when they go and kick it into the football goal. And the basketball net, it's really easy for them to retrieve the ball. It saves so much time.
So could we put something in here that we get staff to have a look at that?
I'd love to.
I don't know how we'd word it, Mary, something very relaxed to say that...
To what, by nets?
No, to have a look at perhaps a stock take around the parks on the hoops, the net. They are really
Surely
important.
every community board with the DRF funding that we gave them can easily do that
Yes,
themselves.
if they can get the information, that's what I'm getting at. Perhaps through the community.
It's council hoops though. We don't currently replace nets on council hoops.
Sorry.
Okay, taking
Sorry,
it.
Mary.
Right. Councillor Johansson, your shot.
I was just going to kind of similar question, obviously having the sports promotion portfolio, and I think it's a really interesting report. But I'm just trying to pick up how do the things in these reports, the recommendations for next steps, get captured and put into our LTP process?
If there are things that you want to propose, if you use the standard process of putting them through the system so they can be captured in the system.
Right. Okay. So because these are mainly operational sort of management, I mean, they're more like, they're not reports that come formally to us, apart from Tyler's, obviously attached in his report. So picking up on the stuff around Linwood, Hornby, bus lounges, is there sort of a review by staff of these reports that will then help us inform the LTP, or should we just pick things out ourselves basically and push them as amendments?
We will have a look at it and can come back to you, but if there's particular things that you want looked at, it's good to put it through the system.
Okay, and I'm happy to work with Tyler in that sports participation because I do think that's a really important thing that we need to address.
Let us please be not. Sorry, Tim.
I think this is. So, let's just get the information from staff about the nets. We don't need a report. All we need is an email and a memo with regards to why this happens, to get a better understanding of why we don't put the nets, etc., etc. That would be the first step.
Because if we're not careful, we'll spend, I'm not saying take anything away from staff, we'll spend more on the report than what the net will cost. So just...
can do it through our community boards.
Okay, Councillor Moore, please.
Sorry, we can't necessarily actually do it through our community board, so I've sought that advice through our community board already. So it would require, presumably, a citywide policy change.
We can't get information.
So just to
About it.
clarify, we've
On
taken a
nets, we
note
don't
about
post it.
this.
We've got a note,
Contact
we'll get back to you. Okay, so Councillor Harrison Hunt is the mover, and the seconder is Councillor, what's your name? Go. Right, is there any debate? Councillor Johansson?
Oh yeah, just very quick. I just want to acknowledge the work that the councillor has done on this. You know, as someone who used to be on the Christchurch Youth Council, it's great to see that we're reinvesting into that relationship. I think it's hugely beneficial to have a youth council as a city, and I look forward to working with the youth sector and with the local councillors around a lot of the things that are in this very comprehensive and detailed report. So thank you for the hard work that people have done on this. I think it's a good step forward, and I look forward to it.
Councillor Barber?
Yeah, I want to acknowledge the work done by Tyler in the report, and I'd like to encourage us all to seek out stories of youth doing really positive things in our community. I just had a thought of the St Bede's school. They raised $100,000 every couple of years for canteen, and I think there are probably lots of things going on like that around the city that we could perhaps highlight a bit more to create perhaps a more positive perception of youth. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And with that, I will ask Councillor Cotter to say something.
Just really quickly. Look, the sport thing really captured my attention, and I went along with Councillor Henstock to the National Students Athletics competition at Ngāpunamai on the weekend, and you know, just seeing those kids, and they all look so healthy, and there was hundreds of them. Now they're competition sport, but it was fantastic to see, and that really does help to counterweight the negative image that sometimes the youth get. But it's that targeting that non-competitive area of sport, keeping kids active without having to get to that level, where a lot of them drop out if they don't get to that level. So that's where I'm coming from, where we need to get volunteer programs going. So, and I really actually totally agree with what you said, Councillor Barber. We've got to help change that image and bolster the positives in our youth, because we've got some great kids out there. Thank you.
Okay, we've got all this positive stuff happening. I would like to